Long time no see, my fellow cake farters. I know it's been a minute, but while you guys were praying to God and your mother's vagina, I was living it up in Alaska with some family members. I'm pretty sure it's common knowledge that if you go on a vacation, you're probably going to have to do some things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do at home. For example, if you're in Seattle, you're going to go get the Asian fried chicken and french fries restaurant instead of staying inside and playing Smash Bros all day. And I was doing the same exact thing, but now and again we do have some time to kill. And in this time that I had, I decided to watch some Netflix shows, and I'm not an avid Netflix watcher. Everybody always says that they watch everything on Netflix, and I don't really get that. I'm a YouTube frog. I browse that all day, every day. But I decided to watch a show with my brothers called Black Summer, which takes place in the universe of Z Nation, you know, the guy that is a 2025 feminist. It's like this really crude, pretty stupid pseudo-action show that tries to be way more serious than it is. I mean, for the love of God, the main character turns from gray to blue to red to white. Like, this isn't some Dragon Ball Super Saiyan God stuff. This is America. We do not have any of that weeb shit here, bro. But regardless, Black Summer takes place in the same universe. Even none of the rules from the Z Nation universe apply here. Like, for example, if you get bit by a zombie, you don't actually turn into a zombie. You're not infected. You actually have to get killed by the zombie or by anybody, and then you'll turn, as long as your head isn't damaged. And, you know, it's a perfectly serviceable zombie show. It's got some action. It's got some action, but it really has nothing else but action. If you're watching Black Summer, you're watching it for the spectacle. So there's about 16 episodes out in Black Summer right now, and each episode varies wildly in length. One episode could be 20 minutes, another episode could be an hour long. It's really wonky. And in these 20-minute to 1 hour episodes, there's a lot of stuff going on. You're thrown into different chapters of the show. It's separated into chapters, and each one follows a different character potentially, or a different plot point for that specific group of characters. But yeah, that's really all it's got going for it. There's a bunch of gore, a bunch of man titties flying all over the place, and that's completely fine if you're watching solely for the spectacle. But the reason I don't like the show is because I'm gonna tap into my pretentious side right now. I really like dialogue. I really like people to talk, and, you know, Personally, I feel like that deepens the connections with the character, and in this show, there is little to no dialogue. There was one 45-minute episode in which there was only about 4 to 5 words of dialogue. And I get the whole concept that you're trying to be artistic, you know, show more than tell, but it's completely different when you're pulling it off the way that Black Summer pulls it off. So let me paint a picture for you. There's one scene where one of the main characters is walking down a hallway and she's holding a gun up as per Twitch's TOS, and the camera is on her right shoulder following her down the stairwell and through the hallway, and it's just 1 to 2 uninterrupted minutes of her aiming the gun and the camera following her over her shoulder. And once again, show don't tell, but there's nothing to show here because it's not telling anything. Like, the show is trying to be rambunctious with its main characters like Game of Thrones, but it's absolute dog water. At the beginning of season 2, the first 5 minutes, one of the main characters that was in the rest of the previous season just got shot by some random person that died 10 minutes later as well, not even by a main character. And for many people, and dare I say most people, this is no problem at all. But for me, I could not help but notice it. It's like how every character in Demon Slayer has one attribute that they go die hard on. In this show, it's the same thing. It's so hard to not notice that it becomes an actual issue if you actually pay like a modicum of attention to it. You'd expect extra long shots to have at least some dialogue, but no. In this show, there is really little to none. I can't help but feel completely disconnected from the characters because they don't really talk about anything. The only people that talk about anything are these random side characters that get killed off 5 minutes later. Not exaggerating. There are so many characters introduced that take so much screen time, and yet they contribute little to nothing of the show. Like, there will be one character that pops up at the beginning of the season and they die immediately within the first 2 minutes of the scene, and then it cuts halfway into the season. It cuts to a part where it shows their origin and how they got to die in the very first episode of the season, and it really contributes nothing to the story. It doesn't tell anything. It's just showing us this character that we saw a while ago being like, oh, whoa, that's cool, we saw him like 45 minutes ago, whoa, I didn't expect that. And that's really all the show is. The only real outstanding thing with the show is the Korean girl's badass hair and her character in general. She's a better runner than Tom Cruise, you know what I mean? But anyway, I'd give this show like a 65 out of 100 on whatever scale I'm using. But yeah, no, that's all I have to say. Peace.